The elevator's brass buttons felt cold under Elena's trembling finger as she pressed the penthouse floor. 3 years of cleaning these marble halls, 3 years of invisible service. And today she would finally ask Marcus Cain for the raise that could save her grandmother's failing health. Morning light streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows across the pristine apartment. Elena moved through her routine with mechanical precision, but her heart hammered against her ribs. She had rehearsed the words 1,000 times in the cramped studio apartment she shared with Grandma Rose, the woman who raised her after the accident that stole her parents. Mr. Cain, I've been loyal for 3 years. My performance reviews are excellent. I deserve more than minimum wage. Simple, professional, reasonable. The sound of running water stopped. Elena's breath caught as footsteps approached the bedroom door. This was it. This was her moment. She knocked softly, her knuckles barely making a sound against the mahogany. Mr. Cain, could I speak with you when you have a moment? Come in, Elena. Just give me a second. She pushed open the door, expecting to find him in his usual pressed shirt and expensive suit. Instead, Marcus Cain stood before her, wearing nothing but a towel. Water droplets traced paths down his chest like liquid silver, time suspended between them. His dark eyes met hers, and something raw and unguarded flickered in their depths. Elena's cheeks burned as she tried to look away, but found herself frozen by the vulnerability she glimpsed beneath his usual cold exterior. I'm sorry, she whispered, backing toward the door. I didn't mean to. Wait. His voice was rough, different from the clipped businessman's tone she knew. Don't go. Elena's hand froze on the doorknob as Marcus reached for a robe, his movements deliberate and slow. When their eyes met again, she saw something that terrified her more than any words ever could. Recognition, as if he was truly seeing her for the first time. There's something I need to tell you, Elena, Marcus said, his voice barely above a whisper. Something about why I really hired you. Part 2. The revelation. Elena's world tilted on its axis as Marcus's words hung between them like smoke from a dying fire. The raise she'd planned to ask for seemed suddenly insignificant compared to the storm brewing in his dark eyes. What do you mean, why you hired me? Her voice came out smaller than she intended. Marcus pulled the robe tighter around himself, but it did nothing to diminish the magnetic pull she felt toward him. Your last name isn't Martinez, is it? The question hit her like ice water. Elena's throat closed, her carefully constructed identity crumbling with 4 simple words. How did you... Your parents, Elena. The car accident 12 years ago. They weren't just any couple caught in a rainstorm. Marcus moved closer, and she could smell his cologne mixed with something dangerous. Your father was my business partner. Your mother was carrying the only copy of software code worth $50 million. The room spun around Elena as memories she'd buried deep began clawing their way to the surface. Her father's late-night phone calls, her mother's nervous energy in those final weeks, the way they'd both looked at her that last morning like they were memorizing her face. You're lying, she breathed. But even as she said it, pieces of the puzzle began clicking into place. The night they died, Elena, they were coming to meet me. That code your mother carried, it was stolen from Cain Industries by someone I trusted completely. Someone who betrayed everything we'd built together. Marcus's jaw clenched, and for a moment, the successful businessman disappeared, replaced by someone raw and wounded. I've spent 12 years hunting for that code, and 3 years ago I found you. Elena backed against the wall, her legs threatening to give out. All of this. Everything. It was just some elaborate scheme to get close to me. At first, yes. The honesty in his voice cut through her like a blade. But Elena, somewhere along the way, something changed. Watching you work, seeing your kindness, the way you care for your grandmother. His hand reached toward her face, stopping just short of touching her cheek. I stopped looking for the code and started looking forward to your presence in my life. Tears burned Elena's eyes as the betrayal hit her full force. My grandmother's been sick, and I've been working for scraps while you... Elena, please. Let me explain. But she was already moving toward the door, her heart shattering with each step. No, I trusted you. I thought, God, I was such a fool. As her hand touched the doorknob, Marcus's voice stopped her cold. Your grandmother knows, Elena. She's known all along who I am. And there's something else you need to understand about the night your parents died. Elena burst through the door of their apartment, rage and confusion warring inside her chest. The smell of chamomile tea and old books greeted her, achingly familiar. Grandma Rose sat in her worn armchair by the window, oxygen tube trailing from her nose, her weathered hands trembling as she set down her knitting. "Elena, sweetheart, you're home early. Tell me the truth." Elena's voice cracked like breaking glass. "Tell me you didn't know. Tell me Marcus Cain is lying." The silence that followed was answer enough. Rose's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away. "Sit down, my darling girl." "No." Elena's hands balled into fists. "I've been sitting in the dark for 12 years. I want answers. Now." Rose's shoulders sagged, and suddenly she looked every one of her 73 years. "Your parents weren't running from Marcus that night. They were running from me." The words didn't make sense. Elena felt the floor drop away beneath her feet. "What?" "I was the one who stole the code." Rose's voice was steady now, resigned. "Your father trusted me. He brought his work home, talked about his brilliant innovations. I was just the mother-in-law, invisible in the background. Nobody suspected me." Elena's knees buckled. She caught herself on the doorframe, gasping for air. "You killed them. You killed my parents." "No." Rose stood, her frail body trembling. "I never wanted anyone to hurt. I just needed the money. Your grandfather's medical bills had destroyed us, and I saw an opportunity. But when I sold the information to Marcus's competitor, things spiraled. Your parents discovered what I'd done. They confronted me." The oxygen tube hissed softly in the silence. "That night, they were going to meet Marcus to tell him everything. To turn me in. I begged them not to. But your mother, she was so righteous, so unwilling to compromise." "So you what? Sabotage their car?" "I called someone. A man who owed me a favor. I just wanted them delayed, scared into silence. I never meant—" The words hung in the air like poison. "The brakes failed on that mountain road," Rose whispered. "It was supposed to be a warning." "Just a warning." Elena's vision blurred. 12 years of grief. 12 years of believing in a tragic accident. All built on a foundation of lies. The woman who'd tucked her in at night, who'd dried her tears, who'd raised her with such tenderness, she was a murderer. "Why?" The word tore from Elena's throat. "Why tell Marcus you'd work for him 3 years ago? Why put me in his path?" "Because I'm dying, Elena. Really dying this time. And I couldn't take this secret to my grave." Rose moved closer, her hands reaching out. "I thought if I could get you close to Marcus, if he could see the kind of person you are, maybe he'd show mercy. Maybe he wouldn't destroy you when the truth came out." "Get away from me." Elena's voice was hollow, emptied of everything but disgust. "You used me. You both used me." She turned for the door, but Rose's next words stopped her. "The code, Elena, it's still out there. And Marcus's competitor, the man I sold it to, he's been watching you, waiting. If Marcus doesn't deliver you to him by the end of this month, he'll come for you himself. And unlike Marcus, he won't hesitate to finish what I started." Elena's phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from an unknown number. Just 2 words and an address. "Come alone." The warehouse smelled of rust and abandoned dreams. Elena stepped through the broken door, her heart a drum against her ribs. Moonlight filtered through shattered windows, casting fractured shadows across oil-stained concrete. "Hello, Elena," the voice came from the darkness. A man emerged, silver-haired and sharp-suited, with eyes like a serpent preparing to strike. Victor Chen. She recognized him from the news. Tech mogul, philanthropist, predator. "You have your grandmother's eyes," Victor said, circling her slowly. "She was quite resourceful, you know. Stealing from Marcus Cain takes real courage." "I don't have what you're looking for." "Oh, but you do." Victor smiled, cold and calculated. "Your mother encrypted the code into something personal, something she knew she'd never lose, even in death." He pulled out a photograph. Elena's breath caught. It was her, age 6, gap-toothed smile, holding her mother's hand. On the back, a series of numbers she'd seen 1,000 times. What she'd always thought was the date and location. "Your mother's locket, the one your grandmother gave you on your 16th birthday. That's not a serial number engraved inside. It's the decryption key." Elena's hand flew to her throat, touching the silver locket she never removed. "I don't believe you." "Believe what you want. But I'm done waiting. Give me the locket or I'll take it from your corpse. Your choice. A sound echoed through the warehouse. Footsteps, quick and purposeful. She's not giving you anything. Marcus stepped into the light, and Elena's traitorous heart lurched. Behind him, 3 security guards fanned out, weapons visible. Victor laughed, sharp and brittle. The night arrives. How touching. Tell me, Marcus, does she know you were planning to hand her over to me yourself? That our little deal included her delivery by midnight tonight? Elena's eyes snapped to Marcus. His jaw clenched, but he didn't deny it. That was before, Marcus said quietly. Before what? Before you fell for the daughter of your betrayer? How poetic. How utterly stupid. Victor pulled a gun from his jacket with practiced ease. Here's what's going to happen. Elena gives me the locket. I walk away. Everyone lives. Or we all die here tonight, and I take it from her anyway. There's a third option. Elena's voice cut through the tension. Both men turned to look at her. I'll give you the locket. But you let them both go. Marcus and my grandmother. You get what you want. I stay with you as insurance until you've verified the code works. No. Marcus moved toward her, but the guards blocked his path. Elena, don't. This isn't your choice, she said, meeting his eyes. For the first time, she saw past his walls, past the businessman, past the revenge. She saw the boy who lost his partner, who spent 12 years hunting ghosts, who'd learned to love when he'd only meant to use. I'm the only one who gets to decide what my life is worth. She unclasped the locket, the weight of her mother's memory heavy in her palm. The last piece of her parents, the last innocent thing she possessed. Elena, please. Marcus's voice broke on her name. Let me fix this. Let me protect you. You can't fix this, she whispered. No one can, but I can choose how this ends. She held out the locket to Victor, her hand steady, despite the terror coursing through her veins. Victor reached for it, his fingers inches from hers, when the warehouse exploded with sound and light. Glass shattered. Smoke filled the air. Bodies collided in the chaos. Elena felt strong arms wrap around her, pulling her down. Marcus's voice in her ear, urgent and raw. I'm sorry. For everything. But I'm not letting you sacrifice yourself for my mistakes. When the smoke cleared, Victor was gone. So were the guards. Only she and Marcus remained, sprawled on the cold concrete, alive and trembling. He'll come back, Elena said. He'll never stop coming. Marcus pulled her closer, his forehead resting against hers. Then we run, together, or we stand and fight, together. But I'm done lying to you, Elena. I'm done pretending I don't. His phone buzzed. He pulled it out, face draining of color as he read the screen. It's your grandmother. She's in the hospital. Heart attack. They don't think she'll make it through the night. The hospital fluorescent lights hummed like dying insects. Elena stood in the doorway of room 314, frozen between rage and grief. Grandma Rose lay in the bed, skin paper thin, machines beeping a countdown to the inevitable. Marcus's hand found hers in the hallway, but she pulled away. I need to do this alone. He nodded, understanding flickering in those dark eyes. She stepped inside, the door clicking shut behind her with terrible finality. Rose's eyes opened, clouded with pain and medication. My darling girl, I didn't think you'd come. I almost didn't. Elena moved to the bedside, each step feeling like walking through concrete. The woman who'd raised her. The woman who destroyed her family. Both truths existed, impossible and undeniable. I won't ask for forgiveness, Rose whispered. I don't deserve it. But I need you to understand something before I go. I don't want to understand. I want my parents back. The night of the accident, before they left, your mother gave me something. Made me promise to give it to you when you were ready. Rose's trembling hand reached for the bedside table. With shaking fingers, she withdrew a worn envelope. She knew I'd betrayed them. And she forgave me anyway, told me to take care of you, to love you, to do better. Your mother, she saw the good in everyone, even when they didn't deserve it. Elena took the envelope, her mother's handwriting on the front stealing her breath. For my Elena. When she learns that love is the only code worth breaking. Inside, a letter. Words her mother had written 12 years ago, before the rain, before the mountain road, before everything shattered. Elena read silently, tears streaming down her face as her mother's voice spoke from beyond the grave. Instructions for the code, apologies for the secrets, but mostly a meditation on forgiveness, on choosing love over bitterness, on breaking cycles of pain. She wanted you to have a choice I never gave her, Rose said. The code isn't in the locket, Elena. It never was. Your mother destroyed it the night she died. Victor Chen has been chasing a ghost. Elena's head snapped up. Then what? The locket is just a locket. Something your mother wanted you to have. But I let everyone believe the code existed. Let them chase shadows. Because I thought if they had something to hunt, they'd leave you alone. The machines beeped faster. Rose gasped, her breath rattling. I got it wrong. I got everything wrong. But I loved you, Elena. God help me. I loved you the only way I knew how. Elena's hand found Rose's, the anger still burning, but transforming into something more complicated, something that tasted like grief and mercy mixed together. I hate what you did, Elena whispered. I hate that you took them from me. But I can't hate you. Rose's eyes cleared for just a moment, lucid and brimming with tears. Then you're stronger than me. Braver than I ever was. Your mother would be so proud. The long beep of the flatline filled the room. Nurses rushed in. Elena stepped back, watching them work, knowing it was over. When she emerged from the room an hour later, Marcus stood exactly where she'd left him. Without a word, he pulled her into his arms, and she let herself break against his chest, grief pouring out in waves. I'm sorry, he murmured into her hair. For using you. For hunting ghosts instead of seeing the person right in front of me. Elena pulled back, meeting his eyes. The code doesn't exist. It never did. Victor will figure that out eventually. Then we tell him together. End this properly. No. Elena's voice was steel wrapped in silk. I tell him, alone, and then I disappear. Go somewhere he'll never find me. Somewhere I can start over without ghosts. Pain flashed across Marcus's face. And what about us? There is no us. There never really was. Just lies and revenge and broken people trying to fill empty spaces. She started to walk away, but he caught her wrist. Elena, wait. What if I told you I love you? Not the idea of you, not the mystery, but you. The woman who works 2 jobs to save someone who didn't deserve saving. The woman who offered herself to a monster to protect others. The woman who forgave with her dying grandmother's hand in hers. Elena felt tears burning again, but she blinked them back. Then I'd say love isn't enough. Not when it's built on graves and secrets. She pulled free, walking toward the elevator. Marcus didn't follow. At the elevator doors, she pressed the button and waited, the locket heavy around her neck. The doors opened. Elena stepped inside. But as they began to close, her hand shot out, stopping them. She turned back to find Marcus still standing there, watching her with eyes full of hope and heartbreak. Ask me again, she said quietly. In 6 months, when I've figured out who I am without the weight of everyone else's sins, when you've learned to live without revenge, if we can find each other then as whole people, not broken pieces trying to fit together, ask me again. Marcus's face transformed, something like sunrise breaking through storm clouds. 6 months, he agreed. But Elena, I'll be counting every day. The elevator doors closed. Elena rode down alone, her reflection staring back at her in the polished brass. She looked different, older, harder, but also somehow more herself. The locket caught the light. She opened it, seeing the inscription she'd read 1,000 times. The only code worth breaking is the one around your heart. Her mother had known. Had always known. That love and forgiveness weren't weaknesses, but the hardest, bravest choices anyone could make. When Elena stepped out into the night air, she didn't look back. She had 6 months to find herself, 6 months to heal, 6 months to decide if some broken things were worth piecing back together. The future was uncertain. The past was painful. But for the first time in 12 years, Elena felt something close to free. Behind her, in the hospital's top floor, Marcus Cain stood at the window, watching her disappear into the city lights, already marking time until he could try to deserve her. Some love stories begin with a kiss. Others begin with betrayal. The rarest begin with a choice to start again, to build something real from the ruins of what almost destroyed you. 6 months, 2 broken people, 1 chance at redemption. The city hummed with possibility. The end.